It's not quantum states, at least in the way that the term quantum gets thrown around in this space, and it's not archangel light energy or five-dimensional quantum vibratory energy of the universe. You know, if these framings of energy resonate with you, then you're welcome to click away, or give me 8 minutes. I've got a background in astronomy, and I've dedicated my life to the practice of Reiki Ryoho, and there's one element in this practice that I think is wildly misunderstood and demands proper investigation. In this space, of course, the word energy, it gets thrown around all the time. If we think about a yoga class or a meditation session that we were at, or even in a Reiki session, it seems like not even 5 minutes can pass by when somebody doesn't say energy this or quantum that. But what does it actually mean? Now, our bodies, of course, run on electricity. Our nervous system is the highway or the conduit within our body that transmits that energy from our brain to all of our organs and everything in between. Our cells produce energy via ATP. Our hearts, they all produce an electromagnetic field that is actually visible or verifiable even outside of our bodies. And so when I say energy in Reiki, this is what I'm talking about. This is not cosmic. It's not something that is beaming across the internet or from the cosmos. It is actually created in you, but it is part of that cosmic energy. It is part of the energy of all things. And so when we say things in the Reiki space, like our energy is blocked or we have resistances or whatever it may be, there's actually more truth to that than people understand. You see, it takes metabolic resources, i.e. energy, to repress these things that we are attached to in our actual bodies, in all of the systems of our bodies, into our organs, for instance. When we hold on to attachments in our life, that's suffering, beliefs about the past, or projections into the future, whatever it may be, when we actively suppress those things, it takes and requires metabolic energy in our body to actively suppress that. Let me give you an example that actually just happened to me last night. In my practice, I was turning into myself, and if you are familiar with my channel and my story in brief, I used to have a lot of anxiety, and I've been through a couple of pretty serious health issues in my life. So the residual of that, the majority of it has been healed with Reiki and with dedicated daily self-practice, but there's always still little bits of residual. Last night, some of that residual came up. By turning into the nature of myself, there was a deep release, a deep fascial release in my left flank, and that brought with it a huge wave of fear and anxiety. Now, from this moment of the practice last night until whenever that seed was planted, I have been expanding metabolic resources to suppress that very emotion or that very attachment inside the nature of my being. And you see, by me turning into it in practice and sitting through it, I was able to let go of this thing that I was holding on to, and this is freeing a blockage. It's not that we are freeing something. It's not that we are clearing a blockage. This is misframing it. It's that we are actually sitting with the nature of the thing that we are holding on to until that metabolic energy can be released. When it's released, our system goes back to balance, or at least a little bit more balance. And so earlier in the video, I was mentioning this term quantum, the quantum state, quantum mechanics, quantum physics, these types of things. These are phrases as well that get thrown around all the time in the Reiki and wellness space. To say something is a quantum healing modality or a quantum upgrade, this is not accurate. It's not physics. This is just poetry. It's words that have no substance. When we look into the nature of what quantum mechanics actually means, then we get a different and deeper understanding of what it means to actually engage in energy healing. I dive into the very nature of this video at length in my book, Touching Silence. So for the sake of this video, let's frame quantum, the term quantum, quantum physics, quantum mechanics, with this understanding. When we talk about a quantum state, this means that something, i.e. energy, can occupy multiple potential states of existence all at the same time. This is something called superposition. From a quantum perspective, energy is neutral. Neutral meaning that it can take on any form. It can become anything that the observer needs it to be. Now, I know this might sound a little bit confusing, because it is, and it's confusing for me, and I have a background in astronomy, but energy is neutral until it's observed. As soon as it's observed, it takes on the form or the story from the observer's perspective. This gives us a very interesting understanding as to how Reiki actually works. If we think about energy healing from a quantum perspective, you are the observer. And so every moment that the wave function of energy collapses, it collapses because you are observing it. You are observing it from the litany of your attachments, your beliefs, your stories, your cultural constructs. Is the same as I am and the same as everybody else is on this planet. When we sit for our practice, we are becoming more aware of the perpetual collapse of energy into form. That form is derived and defined by your own suffering. So if we carry a lot of weight, if we carry a lot of trauma and baggage and regret, if we carry a lot of anxiety about the future, for instance, all of those things become the foundation from which the energy of the universe collapses into the form of you as the observer. I hope that makes sense. So why is this important when it comes to energy healing? Well, we take the example that I just gave about my session last night. Last night, I was turning up for myself and my self-practice, and I'm sitting with myself. You see, what I'm doing here is I'm trying my best to allow the energy to remain as formless as possible, because I'm not working with the nature of my mind by attaching to stories and visions and archangels and everything else. I'm trying not to attach to the suffering of my body, the pain, the anxiety, the fear, whatever it may be. And in doing that, the wave function collapse of the energy of all things is able to rest a little bit. It's being framed less with my circumstance and my experience. By it being framed less, it allows me to sink deeper into the nature of myself. By going deeper into the nature of myself, I'm able to find another pocket of attachment and resistance. If I can sit with that pocket of resistance, then I have a choice. The choice here becomes, do I let go of it or do I attach to it? What I mean by that is if we can find peace in our practice, then the energy can collapse into a more peaceful observer, and that becomes your reality. If energy can just continue to collapse from formless to form to formless to form without any resistance, that's Satori, that's enlightenment, because we're moving with the wave function of the universe. We are moving with the energy of all things, of everything around us. Reiki Ryoho specifically asks us to let go of the practice, to let go of the nature of ourself, our suffering, our attachments, our beliefs. All of those things need to settle so that we can begin to move with the energy of all things. When we release these things, the very roots of illness are freed up and let go of. I find a lot of beauty in knowing that Reiki Ryoho is about 105 years old, and when it was first practiced, people didn't understand quantum mechanics. They didn't understand the nature of a wave function collapse, for instance, but they understood what happens when we cultivate stillness. Walking through the nature of yourself is how we heal. You see, the buzzword version of Reiki, the one that's framed in spectacle and belief and doing and supernatural things, it keeps you dependent on somebody else for something to help you fall into a space of healing. But nobody can heal you except you. Nobody can allow the systems within you to be quiet enough that the energy will just collapse into formlessness again and again and again. You have to turn up and do that work. Nobody can do it for you. No Akashic record reading, no angel downloads, none of that stuff is going to help you until you turn up and do the work yourself. Now, the key to this, the key to walking through that doorway, always has been and always will be consistency. Consistency in your daily practice. How often are you turning up for yourself? Now, I know that turning up for yourself, maybe alone, is not always easy. We need groups. We need support. We need to know that we are not walking this journey alone. I warmly welcome you to join us every Thursday, where we come together as a global group to sit in the practice of Reiki Ryoho live. We support each other, we dive into the practice of Reiki Ryoho, and we aim to cultivate stillness for all of us. In addition to joining live with registration into the weekly Reiki shares, you have access to over 150 recorded Reiki practices, so that this can be utilized for your daily self-practice, so you're never journeying alone. So the link for the Reiki share is in the video description below, and I hope you found this video to be beneficial for your understanding of energy when it comes to our practice of Reiki and holistic wellness as a whole.